Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to the second episode of the Jammin Tower podcast. I'm here, of course, with my boy Dre. How you doing today?
Yo, what's up, man? How you feeling today?
Tired, but getting in the mindset, the grind for worlds. It's been a experience to say the least. We have a lot to talk about, though. We
Yeah, we do.
have a lot of Twitter drama. People needing to learn etiquette. It's a whole it's a whole ball game. But before we get into that, I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly bring up. I saw you went to a couple CP events this weekend. How did that go for you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, so I played on a challenge on Friday. Got second place. Dude, we had 45
At a
masters. 45
challenge?
at a challenge. I had a 6 round challenge where I went 5-1. I got second. I lost to a Zard that boss KO'd my Guardy. I had the nuts. I drew with a couple of Curlias. Couldn't find my replacement Guardy EX though. So we whiffed and lost. We were behind like 1-1 and they won because I was behind a turn. But it's all good. Got 12 points out of that. Then on Sunday, played in a cup. I played good old reliable Zard. Went 3-0 and then just double ID'd into the cut. Guaranteed. It was a top 8 cut, so it was guaranteed.
Free anyway.
Yeah. Sacramento came down and like 6 of them, or no, like 5 of them filled out the top 8. Me and my boy Reggie. Yeah, we were the only Fresno players that made it in. So shout out Reggie. We tried to hold it down. He actually made it to top 4 before he lost. I lost in top 8. Then we had like another kind of local. Is he lives in Kingsburg, which is just outside of Fresno, and he made top 8. So that's the other thing. We all
What'd you
lost in
lose to
well,
in top eight?
it was a mirror, but it was a very interesting mirror. They played Iron Hands and Legacy Energy.
In
The rest of the
Zard?
list seemed, yeah, yeah. I did not draw the best though, Hunter. If we're being really, I'm being 100% honest. I did not draw the best, so but it's all good. My opponent played really well too, though. They did play really well. Like they got their setup. They played well. I
Did the
drew
hands
okay.
happen?
No, they didn't hands me. There
Oh,
was
okay.
never an opportunity for them. I was in situations where I was like making turn two Zard happen. But there was just like games where I couldn't get like I prized Barrel and Unfair Stamp were like my final 2 prize cards. And like I just never got to get my Barrel and it's hard they IONO you and it's hard to get everything you need, right? So
Yeah, for
it was it
sure.
was but it was a well played mirror. And then of course that legacy energy is low key kind of annoying if they throw it on like something like a Zard that you're about to knock out, or they throw it on a Pidgeot and makes the Pidgeot kind of not worth going after, which is actually kind of like it's kind of spicy. I'm not gonna lie. So I mean, yeah, but I mean, I had fun more than anything. I mean, I've touched cards, but I haven't got to play IRL since NAIC. I've just been playing online, like streaming and stuff. So it was good to shuffle up some cards and have human interaction. Speaking of human interaction, it seems like a lot of people don't know how to properly have that. So why don't we jump into that?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and jump into that. Switching over here now to Twitter. We're gonna go ahead and pull this up really quick. Um, there has been a whole bunch of drama, drama. Um, so we're not gonna get too much into like the actual like the people involved in this. We're not going to do any of that, but we're just going to go over a base little etiquette. We're just going to talk
Right.
about the best way to communicate with people, since apparently people don't know how to do that. Um, so somebody here on Twitter, their name's on the screen. You can read it if you want. Go check it out. Whatever you want to do. They posted on Twitter a post, a non anything related to anything sexual, anything sort of like that kind of thing. And there was,
Not even flirtatious, just a very very common run of the mill everyday post.
yeah, just very like it was a post about their new plushie Zorua. I know I saw the post kind of often. They post about the Zorua plushie a lot. So then another person slid in and tried to make a comment that wasn't necessarily the best comment to make. Um, as you can see on screen here. But Dre, what do you think about this?
All right, so the vast majority of the Pokemon community is fellas, right? I'm pretty sure majority of the people watching this, because they're mostly were watching this for the PTCG community,
Our
are
fellas.
probably men. My guys, please, 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 please do not do this. If you do not have prior
Communications.
communication, any kind of like interaction with people, the first thing you should not be sending them is a innuendo or somewhat like uncomfortable, like flirtatious, like, hey, you're pretty. Hey, you're cute. Something like that is like, it's still like, maybe it's probably still not what you should do, but
It's
it's
not
still a
this.
little, it's not this.
Yeah.
This is like something you're doing if you're in like your certain phase of your life and you're on Tinder. I'm not, you try to refrain from cursing on this show, but it's a certain type of boy phase.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and you're on Tinder. This is like one of those messages, right? But this is not Tinder. This is
No.
Twitter.
This is this is a community. This is like
This is
this
Pokemon Twitter.
this is a community of people who are just trying to post about the game that they enjoy playing. Now,
Correct.
like
So,
I have a partner. She's the best. But in this circumstance, if I were to want to reach out to somebody, I would start with something simple as hello. Something simple as hi, how are you? Get to actually know a human being before you try to attempt something with them. Especially in a community like this. Like there are other communities where if that's what you want, you can go ahead and go over there, right? There's plenty of that kind of stuff everywhere in the world. But in a community like this where people are here to show their appreciation for a game, they're not here for you. Like
yeah.
it's not something that you should be doing. It's not something you should be trying to do. It's just simply not the case for this community. It's
And let me also just add this though. Like there's definitely dating that goes on
yeah,
within the Pokemon community amongst other players. They meet at these events and that's awesome, that's cool, but like you do it the normal way. You meet at an event, you have a conversation about Pokemon, then you have other conversations about life. You guys go to the same event. You guys go out for dinner. You guys go out for drinks. That's normal human interaction.
yeah,
That eventually can possibly lead to a relationship if that's what you're looking for with somebody that has the same interest as you. Because of course that's what we want, right? We want a relationship with somebody that has the same interest as us. And I
yeah,
mean,
for
no better
sure.
place to
Yeah,
do it than at an event where you guys share the same interest. But not everybody there is looking for that. And there's just a way of doing things as an adult.
yeah, yeah.
And this person is an adult.
It is.
If
Yeah,
they were like a 16-year-old 17-year-old kid in this, I could give a pass, maybe. I mean, still not even a pass, but like I could like
explain to them that this is
like
not.
yeah, like hey, I get you're young and this is but and this is what you guys do in high school, but not here, type of thing. But this is just like you're too grown to like even be able to do that because like I'm not your dad and you're too grown for me to try to sit you down like I'm a big brother, right? Like
Yeah,
this, you just should know better.
yeah,
And
correct.
it's unfortunate, um, the way everything went down. But I think we're pretty. I don't think there's any kind of disagreement that this was kind of cringe as far as the approach, right?
Yeah. Um.
Speaking of cringe, the worst possible thing you could do, because I thought they got worse. I thought this was as worse as it was gonna get. The
Yeah.
worst possible thing you can do is double down, and Jose is a good player. I'm gonna preface this with that.
I don't. Okay.
Jose is a
Before
good
we
player.
before we get into this, I don't have the post. It was deleted, and
Yeah,
that's important to preface. I do not have the post. It was deleted. Continue.
yeah. Um, Jose is a great. Both players. I know both of these players.
Mhm.
I've seen Alec play. He's played right beside me. We've been at top tables and stuff before around each other. He's a good player. Jose. I've played against Jose in a regional. Um, During our set, it was a close set. I ended up winning, but it was a sweat. It was a sweaty set, and that's the only interaction I had. And no, I had no kind of bad interaction with him. It was a really well fought match and good player. Um, but I do have the screenshot, so I'll read it if you don't have it on screen. But
Okay.
the chick bashing Alec over a DM is hilarious. Trying to be relevant. That's awful.
Yeah. That's
It's
not.
just it's a bad I they're teammates.
Yeah.
I
They're teammates.
understand. They're probably they might be boys. I don't know how close their friendship is as far as their team goes. but you can't do this, man.
No.
This is like I
Yeah.
understand going to bat for your boy, but sometimes
It's better.
you gotta let your boy take the L sometimes, man.
Sometimes for your boy, it's better to keep your mouth shut. It's like you can have
This kind of reflamed that.
yeah, it's like you can have your own personal opinions on any subject. And I'm not saying that
Sure.
everybody on this Twitter thread is good, bad. It they have their own
Right.
opinion, right? But
Right.
there are some things that are blatantly wrong and there are some things that are blatantly correct, right?
Right.
And sexualizing women for no reason is inherently
Wrong.
incorrect. And that's just how it
100%.
goes 100%, right? And
Every
so
single time.
every single time. And going to bat for somebody when they're already down, right? Like in that situation just makes it look worse. Not only on Jose's part because like he's a great guy. I've met him. I haven't hung out with him personally, but I've played him at events. I've talked to him at events. He's a good guy, at least from what I know personally. But that kind of behavior can't be supported on the internet, right? It's just it can't be supported anywhere, right? So
Right.
like those kind of situations need to be avoided, especially when you have things like sponsorships and that kind of stuff. It's like what that was. I saw that and I was just like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Like that
Especially
is
when you have a sponsorship as big as they do, because they share the same sponsor. And
yeah.
their sponsors, we're not gonna say the name of the sponsor either, because I don't want to
They
like.
have nothing to do with this.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
nothing to do with this. They have nothing to do with this. But like they share the same sponsor, and that can be inherently bad for the sponsor.
Yeah.
That two of your players are being looked at as just they're like misogynists and just like it's just looking very, very bad.
Yeah.
So 100% of the time it's wrong. And then I think honestly, it kind of was like I think everybody, gave their say of like, dude, it's cringe, dude, this was bad, like
It was over.
um
It
it
was
was it,
over.
and then this came out and it kind of just like the ember was dying, but then decided to throw like lighter fluid
Gasoline.
on it.
Yeah, throw
Yeah,
gasoline on the fire.
and just relight it. So I think not like there's just like there's no excuse for it.
Yeah, I think another big thing that ignited the fire, I have it pulled up here, is Alec posted a apology, which is like it which is a good apology. Like for the circumstance given, it was a good apology, right? He said wanted to publicly apologize for the DM I sent on Twitter. I agree it was out of line and should have never been sent. Was a childish joke in my head and should have never left. I want to sincerely apologize to her and anyone else who took offense to the DM. And that is an okay apology. Like that is an okay thing to say. Like you learned from your mistake. That's what. But when you delete when you delete the apology, that just again brings the same gasoline that was just there. Like you made an apology. People are gonna move on. People are gonna be mad at you because you made a mistake, right? But you made a mistake and you still are not owning up to it because you deleted it.
Right.
Right.
I think deleting the apology was the bad move. I think the apology was correct.
Necessary. Yeah.
The person that was DM'd deserved that apology. They
Yeah.
deserved a public apology, which he did, and then could have left it at that, deleted it, made it look worse because of that. It made it just seem insincere.
Yeah.
And of course, a lot of people are always going to question whether someone's apology is sincere or not, but that's not what we're discussing.
Yeah.
Whether you believed it was a proper or sincere apology, that's your decision. That's up to your opinion. Everyone has their own opinions, but this is like as far as like addressing things publicly, this was like I think probably the best way you could have gone. But then you fumbled it by deleting.
It just makes it to where whatever sincerity you had for the situation, you're just like, well, I don't actually care, and then
Out the
it's
window.
gone.
It's just
Yeah.
out the window. I think so this is it just circles back to the point that I think that we want to the reason why we're even uncovering this. I know other podcasts are probably not even going to touch this,
Yeah.
but like we wanted to cover it
Yeah.
because like first of all, when we told you guys we're going to keep it real on this podcast. If we see something that's out of line, we're going to call it out.
Yeah.
We told you guys we're going to keep it 100. So this out of pocket. The way it went down, out of pocket. The way the homie tried to support, out of pocket. The posting and deleting of the apology, out of pocket. Alec, if you're listening, I have no ill will or hate towards you, but my guy, this was not it. We got to do
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Jose, same thing. I'm talking exact straight to you. You are a great opponent. You guys are both good players. The way you guys handled this, bad. It was just bad. But I can't. Nobody's perfect, man. Like it happens. Um, but I think we can all learn from this now,
Yeah.
and we need to just understand that the females are already having kind of a hard time in our community
Yeah.
as far as feeling comfortable. We are in a male dominated game.
At least when it came to like, I have a little more information on this because like my girlfriend plays the game, right? So
Right.
like when it comes to this community and like what females just in general have to go through, like a lot of the times they just don't get the recognition that comes with being a player, right?
Yeah.
Like the player status seems slightly reserved for male players, even if the female players are doing better, right?
Yeah.
A good example of this is Piper. Piper is an amazing player, right?
Yeah. Insane
But
player.
like there is not as much hype around somebody like Piper as there are for other players, which are primarily men, which I don't think is fair in a community that is supposed to be completely accepting, right?
Exactly.
There
Exactly.
can be good female players, same as men player, and like
Oh,
same as
100%.
non-binary, anything you want to be, 100% anything you want to be, you can be a good player. It's just about what you're willing to put into the game, right? So
Right.
it shouldn't be judging about that. And my girlfriend talked to me
Yeah.
about it. She's like, it's just like in her situation, she's like, people are going to look at me and compare me to you, right? And I'm like, and the more I thought about it, I'm like, that's super unfortunate in this situation because like she wants to be her own player, she wants to go out, she wants to test, she wants to do all that kind of stuff. But like again, if she doesn't do as good as me at an event, right, it's gonna get compared and thrown back to her, right?
Right.
Simply
of
because
course.
she's a girlfriend of a player, even though she is not like mine, right? Like I don't own her, and I don't have any sort of
Yeah. Yeah.
situation
And
on
she is
that.
her own. And she is her own player.
Yeah,
But because of the relationship and because of the way that it's just, which is a part of the game that needs to change, is like the way people see is like they're always just gonna like compare her to you, like
yeah,
you mentioned,
yeah,
which is unfortunate. And that's then we do need to like kind of transform as a community, because I do recognize that, because there are, like, I know a lot of the players on Girl Power,
yeah. Me too. I'm good friends with
Emmy,
them.
all of yeah, we both have a really good relationship with Girl Power and Emmy and all of them. And it's just like I know, like, Sky is a very good player. Sky's had some good results,
Emmy's a
and like
really good player too.
Emmy's a
Like,
really good player too. Emmy made that day too, was awesome. It was huge.
yeah,
But a lot of these players that that are do not identify as male,
hmm
whatever you that if it's just like it's almost like they get ignored except for their immediate supporters, which is very unfortunate, and it does need to change, because that's the only way we're gonna really open up this game even more. Is we need to kind of break that barrier.
yeah, for
That
sure.
seems to, and as much as people want to say it's not there, it's there, guys.
It's
Like, we
super
can't,
there. Yeah,
like I know we want to, like, yeah, Pokemon, we're doing great, we're a really good community. We are. I'm not, but we can't ignore that there's not some sort of, like, elephant in the room.
yeah.
There
There's
definitely is.
the thing is like we definitely have a lot more uh like a lot less exclusivity when it comes to like our community. Like we're very
Right.
open, we're very accepting, but there's still a lot of issues when it comes to that. Like if you look at other communities, it's a lot worse than ours. And like
Oh,
granted,
100%.
I'm very thankful that like our community is so open and like accepting of each other, but there's obviously the outliers in the situation. There's obviously
Right.
situations like that. And so like going forward, like this situation with Bella and everything that she had going on is a good example to push the agenda that it is important that everybody is on the same playing ground. Everybody is we're all people, right? We all have
Yep.
people with separate lives, and it doesn't matter what you think about another person. You got to treat them the same as you would treat somebody else, right? Like,
Yep. And then
and
you treat your friend.
in the same way you treat your friend, because when you walk into a doors at a regional, it doesn't matter. There are going to be people that know you, right? That you may
100%.
not know. right? Like
Right.
I've walked into tons of events where people have come up to me and asked like to say hi to me and like come up and talk to me, and I have no idea who these people are, but I have to treat them like they're my friends because they are, right?
Yeah, and that's the approach I take every event I go into. You guys noticed like the very infamous Dre cheesing on camera when I was walking into the event, looked like a big old dopey kid walking into Disneyland. Because bro, when I go to Pokemon tournaments, like that is my Disneyland. I've been to Disneyland. I went to Disneyland last year for the first time. Bro, I had more fun walking into my regional than I did at Disneyland. Disneyland's hot and sweaty, and I don't get to play cards. At least at a regional, I'm hot and sweaty and playing cards.
Yeah,
So I mean, no, that's definitely the approach we need to have.
yeah. Like people are there to have a good time, and don't be the guy or the girl or the human being or whatever you want to be walking into a tournament and shutting people down, right? Like
Yeah.
people are people and you have to treat them like people. It's
Oh, dude, it's simple. It's so simple, but it's for some people who have not been. It's honestly just the way you grew up, right? Or the way
yeah.
you, like what you grew up around. Like me, I grew up in urban, just to put it lightly, very urban areas. I was, my parents were not around, so I spent a lot of time out in the streets, seeing stuff I wish I didn't see as a kid, and so it's like I learned an appreciation for life that a lot of people don't have. So, and when you see other people, I just have more of appreciation of people and just treating people equally because, I don't know what other people go through. I've seen people go through some things and still somehow have a smile on their face, and it's crazy
Mhm.
that they can go through the things they go through and stuff like that. So, like, it is definitely it's the way people. Some people grew up very very sheltered, and and that's a great thing. I'm not knocking that. Like, not everybody needs to struggle. Good on those people's parents, and I'm glad they had that kind of lack of
Need.
um yeah. So it's with that, it's just we need to do a better job of closing the gap as far as just being inclusive,
Yeah.
because it's not, and it doesn't just stop at you know the feminine part. It's very we need to work on closing the gap between our heterosexual group accepting our LGBTQI plus community,
Correct. 100%.
our um Caucasian. There's not a better word I can use. Accepting our colored community. I'm one of those colored people that when I was on stream, I was just told over and over of the nasty things that were said about me while I was on stream because I wore
Yeah.
a do rag on stream and stuff like that. And there's just a lack of representation of our colored people um that get to be put on stream and get to in or so it's a lot. All three categories. This is just a good opportunity to kind of understand that there is a clear
Yeah.
gap of not understanding just proper human etiquette, whether that's between a male and a female, a Caucasian person and a colored person, or a heterosexual person and an LGBTQI plus person. Like, we just need to understand that it doesn't matter. We should be focusing on that we are all humans that love this dang card
We're
game with
here to
silly
play
monsters.
Pokemon, bro. Like we're just here to play Pokemon. It doesn't matter. Like people may not have the same upbringings, but we're here to play a game and just sit down, shut up and play the game. Like stop going out of your way to make things difficult for other people. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's so unnecessary.
and like to go back on like your thing with between Caucasians and colored people in the community. I have a really really good friend, so close to me that I almost like I consider that man like a father in this community, and his name is Jalen Jones. Jalen is one of the best people in the community, right? But like when I was watching his stream game, and I would read through the Twitch comments, just simply because he was a a black man, right?
Yeah,
The entirety of the community just attacked him. Maybe not our general community, but the people who are watching the stream, right?
safe
Same
behind
with
their screen.
yeah, safe behind their screen. Same with Dre's game, right? I watched all of that live because I didn't get to attend LA, but right, watching all that take place, like, re- sorry, really showed me like that there is such a disconnect, and we need to be way more accepting of human beings.
Yeah,
Like
we
there's
really do.
there's nobody nicer than the two people I've met that like are the most affected by this, at least right now that I've seen, like being Dre and Jalen, right? Like those two people, I've never met nicer human beings in my life. So like, stop getting in your head about shit that you shouldn't be getting in your head about, and go make some friends.
Yeah, man. Just make some friends. It's like it's so overused now, but it's real, dude. It's like, dude, make friends, touch grass, take your vitamins. Like, I don't know what you need to do, but
Pop
you
some
gotta change it up.
Flintstone gummies. Pop some
Yeah, man.
Flintstone.
I don't know if it's a deficiency problem that's going on that's making you a grumpy person, but like, God, there's got to be a change somewhere.
Yeah,
But I think that's a pretty good way. I don't think we need to beat this too bad. I think it's been handled
we can
pretty
scoot over.
well
We
by
could.
the online community. I think we've all done a good job as a general reading most of the comments. And also going to say that there have been a lot of other people going for bat for the boy, and just, bro, that's cringe. Probably delete your post before it comes back later if you get into something. I don't know. But it was like there were some bad takes, but for the most part it was generally like a lot of people understanding like, hey, this is not the way to act. This is not the way we do things. So
Yeah.
we'll just leave it at that. Going into more drama though, a certain player was handed a ban and will not be attending Worlds because of it. So do you have that post,
I
Jay?
do. I have it pulled up right here.
All right, go ahead. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and read it through. Um, so this is from, I believe it's Juha Marquez. Um, I'm not sure that's pronounced right. I apologize if I didn't pronounce that correctly. But they put the tweet out, and we wake up today with absolutely unfair and unfounded news. Today, June 28th, 2024 is what they meant, not 2004. It was reported that Gabriel was banned from Pokemon for 3 months, and the reason was not explained or clarified. So 3 months, as of June 28th, will mean they're not going to be able to play in Worlds. They will be able to play when the new season starts. I believe that 3 months ends about there, if that's the initial date, being June 28th.
Yeah,
Um, so I don't remember I do remember them getting DQ'd
I do.
at NAIC.
I remember.
I
I
do
might actually
also
be able to find Gabriel's post on the
way
situation.
back, yeah, because I think Gabriel actually deleted their tweet. I remember it being, I thought it was kind of funny because it was like something about like like the only way they could stop me from winning is like
Yeah,
banning me or DQing me or whatever.
yeah,
Um, okay, I do remember the discussion. So it was something about like stacking, right? They were playing against Stall,
yeah,
and the card that got put on top was an unfair stamp. But an unfair stamp wouldn't make sense to put on top of your deck against that matchup because they're not taking prize cards. So you're never going to use the unfair stamp,
yeah,
right? So that was kind of the thing. But like, I mean, I guess there could be a case made that, like, I mean, at least the unfair stamp is not going to get milled by misfortune sisters or something like that. Whatever have you. It doesn't really matter. But they deemed that, and then also what you have to realize for a DQ to happen off of something like that, there needs to be some sort of like liable basis. The judges aren't going around just handing DQs because they don't like you.
yeah.
I know judges that genuinely don't like some players, but they're not going through and hunting these players down. They're going to keep an eye out on those specific players if they've had like instances in the past, because if you have an instance in the past, why would we not make sure we have a little more attention on that to make sure we avoid that, right? It's kind of the way I see it.
Yeah,
So this instance couldn't have been just like this one instance. There had to have been warnings prior or just like instances prior,
yeah.
right?
Or there could just be something that, like, you have to realize that, like, when it comes to seniors and juniors, right? Anything that goes on, we're never actually going to know what happened, right? Because,
Right.
like, well, like, it's not nearly as mainstream as the Masters circuit. Like, it's just never going to ever be the case. So, yes, Gabriel said what he said, right? Happened, right? But for something to happen to get DQ'd, there has to be more than we don't know, right?
Right.
Like there, and I'm not saying, I'm not accusing anybody of anything because that's not my job, right?
Right.
But there has to be something more, right? Because they don't just throw DQs, especially for juniors and seniors, right? I'll be 100% honest, they are way more lenient when it comes to juniors and seniors play, right? Like accidents happen a lot more in those divisions, so they're way more lenient. So to hand out a DQ, like the last time I think somebody got DQ'd from something, right, in the seniors division was Owen Dalgard when his dad was standing behind him and that whole situation like happened,
Oh, right.
right?
I do remember that. Yeah.
Like there was that situation, right? But like that is completely separate. So like there hasn't been any DQs in between like then and there, at least that have gone this public. So and
I think. Yeah. Go ahead.
especially if they've moved it from a DQ to a ban, like
Yeah.
like bans are so rare in this community.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. There's
like
there's people that we've seen blatantly caught on stream cheating that have not got bans.
yeah, like and so
So
like banning in this community like isn't a thing. So since it isn't a thing, something happened, and
yeah,
that's
I think
just
there had to have been priors or undisputable evidence. Of course, we don't know though.
yeah. We have no idea, and like it's obviously it's it isn't until proven guilty type of deal, right? But like I'm and no accusing anything, but like unless we get more information on this, we have absolutely no idea that like what else is going to come up from this.
We need Pokemon to move to a. We need public reasonings behind these bans. I
Yeah,
believe
more
every other car,
transparency.
every other card game has transparency on their bans.
You also have
Every
to
other card game
you,
does.
you also have to realize like let's say somebody gets banned, right? Like let's
Right.
say in Masters Division, let's say I were to get banned, right? And then I come back in, after a year and Pokemon said no reason as to why I got banned. I just poof went banned. Now when I walk into a room, if I got banned, it doesn't matter if it was for something unrelated to cheating, if I did something outside of Pokemon that I wasn't supposed to do, right? Like anything at all, my entire reputation as a player is tarnished. It's gone. I'm a
Yeah.
cheater. I'm a cheater, right?
Yep.
Like and so like no matter what the ban was for, unless there's transparency behind it, no matter what happens, you can't punish players for their actions without them coming back and being known as a cheater, right?
Yeah.
And it
And that's kind of just like it's like it's because also like you said, there's probably it. I mean, I doubt there is really too many instances where you would get banned for something outside of the card game because
okay.
Pokemon
I
10
have an
really
instance.
doesn't do
I
that.
do have an instance of this.
Okay.
A friend of mine from back in the day said some very not choice words. His name is
Gotcha.
Evan Malone. Okay,
Okay.
he said some very not choice words to another member of the community and said some bad things. So they banned him. Right. This was in a private messenger group. It was nothing like situated. This was a completely like Evan is a different person than he was however long ago he got banned. He's a lot different as a human, but like um he did get banned and he just recently got unbanned, right? But like nobody
Okay.
knows of that situation, right? But
Right.
like
So
so
yeah, there's that situation though. Like it's a whole
mhm,
different one. And then
yeah.
if people didn't know, he comes back and we just assume he's a cheater now.
Yeah. Yeah, because
I mean,
that wasn't transparent.
yeah.
That wasn't like obviously things are said outside of like not everything evolves in this community and things are said that aren't supposed to be said. That's just how like life works, right? But like in that instance it had Evan come back and like made like a public post about getting unbanned and like all this other stuff and like nobody knew what happened. Evan is immediately target number 1, right?
Yeah.
When there are other
Hard.
people in the game who have blatantly cheated who need to get banned, right? Like there are actual ban worthy players. Like obviously not going to name any, right? But there needs to be more transparency, ruthfulness. Like the Pokemon Company needs to stand in and do something. Like
There definitely needs to be some harsher as far as blatant cheating goes. Because there's also that's just another tricky part about the cheating thing is so like we have to be able to prove intent,
yeah,
but there has been just like some gaudy like, geez, that was just not even remotely
yeah.
like deniable instance of cheating. But like, so not everybody. If a mistake happens, and not we're not trying to start witch hunts. That's the
No, no,
not
no,
what
no,
we're
no,
trying to
no.
do. But like, when there are people that have been caught blatantly cheating, and it's not even like it's just so obvious and there's no kind of repercussions. But then you have somebody who like Gabriel, like we don't understand, we don't know because there's no transparency how real the situation is. So for us, we're just thinking like, okay, so was it as bad as this situation that did not get banned?
Yeah.
Or was it worse?
Yeah.
Because if it was not, then why is Gabriel banned and said person never got banned? You know, and that's kind of where like it gets upsetting as a player because we don't have that transparency, and that's why it's needed. Because then you have the rest of us kind of like worried, like I don't want to make a mistake,
Yeah.
and then it gets perceived as cheating, and then I get banned,
There's
right?
there's also
Because
the
we
other
all
head of
there's
the coin where it's
yeah,
like you don't want to get cheated against, right?
exactly.
Like granted, like let's say in this situation Gabriel did get banned for 3 months, right? But it was for cheating, right? Then if we don't know what happened, somebody who sits across from him, right, has no idea that it was for cheating and he can just go back to doing the same thing again. But
True.
if there were transparency, right, not saying that Gabriel did cheat or anything, just in this circumstance, right? Like if there were transparency, then sitting across from a player, I could ask for a judge to watch the game. I could ask
Right.
for, some sort of assistance where I could still be nice to my opponent, right? But I'm not worried about the fact that they're going to cheat against me.
Yeah, that's fair. I can see that. I can understand that. I think my big thing with this is that it's kind of, I don't want to say it's unfair because if this was this instant, we don't know how, if they were blatantly caught cheating, how often has this been going on? Is it a season long thing? Is there multiple things throughout the season? If so, that's why they chose to give him the ban right before Worlds, through Worlds, going into the new season. Because usually they're indefinite bans. Like it's kind of strange that it's just a 3 month one. So it's just like you're gonna miss Worlds, but you can come back for the new season, which is kind of strange to me. I know a couple. I know a player that is serving an indefinite ban right now because of something that happened amongst him um and a local store owner. Like, there's a lot of reasons you could get banned for like, you know, you cannot threaten another player in this community,
Yeah. Right.
whether that's virtually or in person. You cannot, threaten that you're going to beat them up, something like that. You'll get banned. Like, they can screenshot it, submit a ticket, you're banned. You can't, get in a fight at these tournaments. Um, where there's children at, stuff like that. Like, can't be doing that. So there's just like stuff that's not cheating that you can get banned for. Um, but we don't have those transparency, like, because there's instances where there we need transparency on those people too. Because like, what if they do get unbanned and they come back and they're an unruly person, and we need to,
Avoid.
know that that person is unhinged. Like, I don't want to upset this person. I got to make sure that, I try to keep this game as chill as possible because they fought a store owner or something. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's where kind of like the transparency of like these bans, I think, needs to kind of open up. I think the ban list needs to be available to the public, and I think the reasoning behind the bans needs to be public, just so then we all kind of feel a little bit more comfortable. It's just going to help create a more comfortable space amongst the community, I
Yeah.
believe.
I agree. I
Yeah,
think like when it comes to just in general Pokemon, they should be more transparent. They like not even about this, just about like the whole system as a whole. Like
yeah.
going back onto like last episode, talking about our system requirements, like way earlier than they did before. Talking
Our
about
tournament
events,
dates.
tournament dates, events. Like for making so much money as a company, they need to put their foot down and actually step up to the plate because they are really falling behind on what it is to be this large of a community.
Yeah,
Like,
the game is growing, the community is growing, to the point where it's like, they got to keep up, or they're gonna like, all this was for naught. We've had this build up, and things are gonna start falling apart if they don't put on the, Big Pikachu doesn't put on the big boy pants.
yeah,
You know,
Pikachu's got to use the Thunderstone. He's got to
yeah,
go.
gotta evolve.
Yeah,
Come on, yep, yep. All right, well, I think we can move on to our new, well, not new, because I mean, still new, second episode, but the
yeah.
best part of the podcast. What you got? I
uh,
got me some Prize Pack Series 4. I know we started last week with the Prize Packs, But the Series 4 has some heat, and I just got these from these past weekend of CP events. You got Series 1?
I do. I've got some heat on me.
Okay. Okay, we made the rule that the one person gets to deny one hollow.
Yeah.
But we do have to bring up though, if we're both going to be doing prize packs in the same battle, then there's no hollows.
Yeah.
There's no hollow disparity.
Yeah.
It's only if like I have 2 prize packs and you brought like a 1 pack of a main set.
Yeah. So
All right.
these are all gas.
All
right?
the hits.
All
All the hits.
But
all right, here we go.
So this week we're doing pop packs again because we were completely unprepared and Dre ripped all of his packs open.
I did rip all my packs.
So next week we should be able to get some like good packs. I'm gonna run to my LGS, shout out my locals, and grab up some cool packs to open for you guys. Maybe a Steam Siege. I'm thinking I open a Steam Siege next week.
Hey,
Yeah.
all right. I'm gonna hit my LGS and find something hot too.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? You ready?
Yeah, we'll slide down here.
I'm still gonna go from up here from the front cam. All right.
Pardon the mess in my background. All right. So we got a tool jammer.
Okay.
Great ball.
Nest ball. Yeah. Research.
Boss's orders.
Ooh, wait, what do we got? Ooh, Iono. Hey, that's a heater.
No.
Cosmic Iono.
No. I needed a hit to make this worth something, bro. I got a rapid energy and a turbo patch, bro.
Oh no.
Oh, dude.
Cosmic Iono is already a banger, dude.
Dude, I have to get a hit for this to matter. Because like the hollows in this are just not worth it. Because they're they're all rotated hollows.
Yeah.
All right.
So
y'all can have this code if y'all want. I don't care. All right. So we got ourselves an ordinary run.
Superior.
A path.
Lux Ray.
We got a Crobat here.
I got Kyogre.
I got a switch and an Intel. Oh, dude, you smacked me.
Dude, Jet. Cosmic Jet Energy, dude. Yeah, I definitely got the bangers this time.
You smacked me this week, bro.
Just these two were just the bangers.
Had I got a hit, it was over for you. I won. If like a hit out of Series 1, it was over.
Yep, a hit out of Series 1 is just GG's. But all right, I came back. I got the dub. We're 1-1. All right, that's what I'm talking about. I knew I couldn't go down 2-0, man. I couldn't do it. There's no way my prize packs were gonna let me down again.
All right.
No shot.
So,
all right.
We're gonna go ahead and segue on to the next portion. This will be the first official cut in the Jammin Tower podcast, but we have a very special guest hopping up on here to talk about his life, talk about some stuff he's got going on. Yeah, I think you guys might like this. So,
all right, guys, welcome back to this new segment. As you can see, we have the man, the legend, Zach Lesage with us today. Yeah, Zach! Woo! All right. Yeah, welcome to the Jammin Tower podcast, Zach. Yeah, I appreciate you joining us. I know you're busy.
I have a lack of tools.
No tools here.
We're running low on mouse tools in this episode.
Yep, no tools. But all right, so you've been a busy man lately, towards the end of the season. I mean, for those of you that don't know out there, you are expecting. Congrats.
Thank you.
So just leading into that, I guess like a question I have is, what's it been like going through the end of the season and preparing for Worlds and preparing for the new season? Knowing that you're going to be taking this huge step.
Ooh, that's a tough one. It's kind of like it's something that I've never been able to prepare for before. Like it's one of those things where it's not like I have a kid at home already. It's just like, so I don't know what it's like. So you can only like kind of muster as many things up as you possibly can and really kind of I don't know, like make time while I still have time to make time. Yeah, so right. I started my Shrouded Fable testing really early. Kind of started really exploring, and I think like now I'm just like I took the past couple of weeks to move, kind of get everything all sorted out. And I think like this Monday, like tomorrow, is when I'm just like I'm gonna start crushing things again. and really just like taking it like one day at a time. Um, but yeah, I don't think it's like anything too different yet. I think it's like one of those things where Michelle's not expecting until after Worlds. Fingers crossed, because that would really suck otherwise. Um, but it's like I'm like, yeah, if it comes to Worlds, I'm like, Michelle, suck that baby in, keep it up there, uh, like mouth vacuum that shit. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where I think I just gotta like kind of take it day by day.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, for sure. No, that's really. I mean, because I don't have kids. Jay doesn't have kids. Like me and Jay don't have biological children. I mean, I have Gazer Beam, and he has the entire kitchen. But like, we don't have
Yeah.
actual children we have to worry about taking care of. So like, it's just very interesting. I know there are a lot of like Pokédads out there. They probably don't take the game or don't go to as many events as you do. So it's going to be probably really, really interesting to watch you go into this new season as a father,
Sure.
especially as to a
Yeah.
newborn, because you're still going to be playing going into this new season, correct?
I mean that's the plan. I think like my plan right now is I'm gonna start the season around Louisville.
Right.
In terms of playing at regional level events, I it's killing me because Baltimore is actually one of the two drivable regionals, like under 10 hours from me here in Montreal now. And literally it's Michelle's due date weekend. Now, I told Michelle my plan is not to go to Baltimore, but if we get everything under control and she's like, oh, like whatever, I'm not gonna pre-register, but I might register like the Thursday or Friday, crush the drive down, and just like last second attend it. But other than that, I kind of like play the game a little bit more strategically than I ever have before.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that like a lot of players have been kind of talking about, where internationals are more CP effort value. Special events might be more value out of those events. As someone who's trying to play the little bit less, um, I might have to travel a little bit more internationally, but those are really the events I want to try to hit up to attend less events overall, but still get the same CP.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Makes sense. So I mean, so you're gonna be trying to go to more of these other events, obviously, because like you said, it's more strategic based. And then if you have to take that first regional off, understandably, is the due date. So it kind of makes sense that you make it up somewhere else. Um, you also just went through like a big move going into this season, going from Toronto to Montreal. Like what's kind of like the movement like? How's the adjustment to like the new? Because it's also, I mean, I know I'll be going through kind of like a similar thing when I move here, like in a few. I have like that's probably 5 months away though. But like
Sure.
I only
Yeah.
know myself as like the Fresno community because this is where I started playing 2 years ago, and like I moved a little bit, but that's still my locals. I still like take the train or drive there. So like you're in a completely different space. So what has it been like making that transition from one local community trying to find and establish yourself in a new one? Even though you're Zach Lesage, right? I mean, it's still got to be like a little odd walking into a new place and seeing new faces, right?
Yeah, that's 100%. I literally like was driving around. I have, luckily for me, like I'm in one of the burbs of Montreal, so
Okay.
off the island a little bit, and I just have to take a bridge across. So I'm like 10 minutes away from Montreal, but it's like it's a suburb of Montreal. It's not like downtown core or anything like that or on the island. So for me, I literally like I drove by one of the two leagues that are like five-ish minutes from my house, and I literally told Michelle, I was like, I might actually go to Pokemon League for the first time in like the past 20 years. Just because like I want to make some friends that like play Pokemon, because I'm just like, you never know what it is. And it's like I think it back to the beginning of last season where I met my friends like Tom Day, Dom Ritchie, who's now our video editor on Shuffle. And I'm just like, those guys I've like traveled around with a lot. I've hung out, had the best of times. They actually even helped me move. Um, and obviously there's a whole bunch more, but it's one of those things where it's just like you never know when your new best friend is right around the corner. And I think that's for me is like I'm kind of looking for that new like Quebecois slime. Where it's like it's gonna be like the first day of like elementary school where you go up to someone and it's like, I mean, we're all guys here. Like you
Yeah.
just go up and you're like, hey, you want to like bet, right? Like you just
Yeah.
like so it's tough. it's also like Toronto somehow became the mecca of Pokemon over like the past year, where it's like I literally think there's 50 plus League Cups in the Greater Toronto area this quarter,
Yeah.
which is like more than many people have per year. And I'm looking at the Pokedata OVH map, and I think I have like 5. And I'm
Oof.
like, huh? So, and it's not even like they're like, I think they're adding some more. I think the biggest issue this quarter is Pokemon announced it, people added them, and they don't have the cup mats. So I think in the professor discussion, from what I overheard from some friends, is like, do you run a cup now and get those attendants, or do you run the cup and get the play mats? So fingers crossed we get a few more. I think there might be something like 10-ish active stores in the Montreal-ish area. I mean, I'm also not like, I played in a League Cup in Costa Rica last year. I'm not afraid to travel a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. I'm just excited to see what it is. And also like it's like not that I'm like purposely moved to like get out of a competitive area or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mind like when I don't like, I love Rowan and Raymond and all these guys, but like Toronto Cups are sweaty AF, and I'm kind of excited to be like, regardless of whoever is there, I don't know how sweaty it can get. And I think like I'm just like, okay, maybe we got a few more like easy wins.
Yep.
Maybe it's not a gauntlet. I couldn't win 4 cups last season, like trying all year. And I know that there's many people that couldn't even win a single one in Toronto. So like I'm hoping to knock them out of the park, maybe. Either that or I'm gonna get kind of kicked to the curb.
Yeah. You don't know what hidden talents there, man. That's like what you got to worry about. It's like what people have been sitting here brewing in Montreal waiting for your arrival. You know what I mean?
Right? Like what's the meta game? Maybe like that, because like it doesn't, sometimes they don't even need to play a meta deck to like kick your ass. It's just like, how do I know that I don't go into the league where everyone plays grass type and I play Zard or something like that? Like, I'm like, oh geez, I don't know what I walked
You lose
into.
to Torterra on the winning end.
Oh
Right? Like there's
gosh.
no like, it's, we all like, everyone memes about these decks, but I think like I honestly think way more Pokemon decks and concepts can win than people think.
Mhm.
I've definitely lost to some matchups where it's just like, if we look at the deck outside of the matchup, it's probably not that great. I think at a 1K, I literally just lost to a Diplin Festival lead deck, but that deck was just cooking me. Like it just like when that deck's running, it's just like, yeah, Festival lead can win.
Yeah,
Bro, I've had cups where like dude, Woke Trio Mill was in the finals of one of my cup. And that same person that played that, I played them in like top 8 of another cup. I beat them with Champao, but they made top 8 and finals of, they made 2 top cuts of cups with Woke Trio Mill.
yeah, dude.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
I went to the full grip 5K. Like I don't know if you remember the full grip. We're doing their like 5K tournaments like a couple years back. And I went to the one for Astral Radiance, and I played uh like Hoopa, like the Hoopa Galarian Wheezing deck, Doug Dimmadome deck or whatever.
Oh
And
yeah,
at that
I remember
tournament, I
that.
hit 2 Durant Mill. Like it's like sometimes it just stuff happens. Like you can't really do anything about it.
Yeah,
So
it's real. Dude. So going into more of the world's discussion now. So you did mention that you have started your prep a little bit. So what's kind of that what's been kind of like getting your interest? You know, give us a little sneak peek in the view of Zach Lesage. What's been kind of like catching your eye? What's been brewing?
So right now I feel like I'm kind of at the point of where I was before Worlds 2022, where I really like control. And I think like I played an attacking Snorlax with Cornerstone Ogerpon to like our mini shuffle squad only Shrouded Fables legal event. And I mean, while we didn't have that many players, I did play against Gem, Alex Shemansky, Cyrus Davis. So that's like it's no light work, and it's one of those things where I was able to go 2-0-1 in best of 3, playing Snorlax with Cornerstone and energies to attack. If Charizard doesn't really tech against you, you can kind of just win against them. Dusknoir is a little bit more scary than what I think everyone thinks it is. And I think like I even saw the Tord tweet after where he's like, I should have played Fortress EX and Charizard or something like that. Or I think we under like valued popping your own Pokemon. I think we undervalue Dusknoir right now.
yeah,
So Dusknoir, Dusclops, those are like the big ones. And then beyond that, I think like
What do you think of
seeing how the
Zerosic?
rest of the metagame reacts around it.
What do you think of the new Zerosic card?
The Zerosic scheme, the one that like rips your hands.
Yeah.
So that card felt like pretty underwhelming when I played it. Um, and I think like it's one of those things where you got to have it like at the right moment to have that like kind of power move. But in a lot of cases, I didn't find it super. I also played Luxray in my list, like Luxray V, so I could like rip another card after that.
Mhm.
I didn't find myself getting into that play as much as I wanted. So while it's a card that I definitely want to have in my collection, I don't know if it's a card that's going to be like super format impactful right now, or at least I have to reinvent it outside of a traditional like let's slap it in a control deck kind of vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense. So, I mean, one list like on my stream, you hopped on and played like a few games with me on the tabletop sim, and we were actually talking about it last week on the pod where the dude, I still don't know the name. We call them the boys, the
Okie
Poison Boys, the
dokies.
Petra,
Yeah.
yeah, all the Petrarunt guys. And that list seems like you beat me. And it just seems like there is something there. I don't know if we have the list yet, but it just seems like there is like when you played it against me, I felt like I was in control that entire game, and then next thing I knew, I lost. Like they're just and I just feel like it's being that's another deck that's maybe like underutilized right now and is kind of being overseen because of everyone's hype on Zard and Pult. So I what do you think of that deck since you were the one that actually played it against me?
I want to say like mid. Um, it's super unfortunate, but like because that was a deck that like excited me the most when it
Right.
came out. Like I'm just like I'm a filth that loves like those big beat 'em up decks, like Buzzwole right on my alley, Blacephalon right on my alley. Like I had to restrain myself not from being a Raging Bolt guy, right? So when it comes down to it, I think that it's just like it's probably less consistent bolts right now.
I
The
gotcha.
only caveat that it has that makes it a little bit different is the deck is unknown, right? Like it's
Right.
like when we were playing against you, you're like, oh, I didn't realize I could get that damage cap. I think if
Right.
we replay that with you having the knowledge afterwards, I'm getting cooked like 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
there was turns where I'm like, oh, please don't knock out my Petra, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna knock out the active, and you're like, oh shit, Monkey Dory is only worth 1 and stuff like that. Not to say like you were
Yeah.
like, there's just so many like weird interactions. Also, I think like if we were playing with the physical cards in front of us, not playing on the simulator with the Japanese cards, you would have had a much deeper understanding of the cards in general. So
Right.
I don't know. I think it's something that could be good, and I think dark archetypes could be good. But like right now, I'm leaning towards like Worlds looks like it's going to be Charizard and Dragapult and Dust Noir esque decks that are all like kind
Right.
of fighting towards it. And maybe there's a deck that does well against those. Like maybe Lugia is that deck. I don't know. Like I think we sometimes like there's usually a deck that beats those two, but we'll have to see how that goes.
Right. Right. Joe looks like he has a question.
No, I don't
Yeah,
have a
he,
question. I just got
oh,
me
the way you're,
thinking. Got me thinking.
the way, yeah, that face of like, ooh,
That's,
like you had something on the mind.
yeah, I mean, I know a deck beats both the Dragapult and Charizard.
Oh God, oh God, oh
Villain.
God.
It's Arc, bro. It's Arc. Y'all can talk about it all you want, but Arc is really good into a meta where where Charizard's really good.
Jay's addiction to attached passing is crazy to me.
To be fair, you want to know what? I'm an arc fiend too.
And he's gone.
I feel you.
Yeah, I got, but I like it. Just makes you think like all these decks that people like looked over. Like for Worlds could see definitely a big rise in popularity. Like Raging Bolt could be good again, right? Like I don't think it ever died off, but like I still don't think the deck is very like good in the scheme of things when it comes to like Charizard and when it comes like matchups against Dragapult or like that kind of stuff. Dragapult might be favored for Raging Bolt, but I think like for Raging Bolt, it's like one of those hit or miss decks when you play it, like into an event. It's kind of very much like an aggro deck, and if you play against something that's less aggro, like a one prizer deck or something like that, or Guardy, it's pretty rough for you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. If they're not tech for it, it can be pretty tough. I actually think though, going into this, I think Guardy is being kind of like
Over tech for.
I think it's getting well, no, not over tech for. I think going into Worlds, I think Guardy is getting the Zard treatment that Zard got going into NAIC. Because going into NAIC, I feel like Zard was still in a very good place. I mean, clearly, I took Zard and had like a field day going into top 8. And I lost to a mirror. If I didn't lose that mirror, I think I'm probably winning that cup.
Yeah.
And so like to me, like Zard was and still is in a very good place as far as going NAIC and as far as the end of this format. So going into Worlds though, Guardy doesn't get any new toys, right? Like it doesn't really none of the new cards really fit into Guardy very well.
Yeah.
So I think it's just going to be the new toy syndrome that I think Guardy's not being hyped up enough because it doesn't have the new toys. But I think it's going to be fine going in. Like the Dusknoir is not as bad because it's not a spread deck. They sure like if you only get one Raw down, they can Dusknoir, Dusclops, snipe your lone Raws. Cool. I mean, GG's. You're probably losing that game anyways. But it doesn't seem like it's in a very bad spot going into Worlds either.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes with Lost Box. Like neither of them. I mean, you could play like a Dusknoir Lost Zone. I'm talking about actual like turbo Lost Zone box or like a more standard Lost Zone box. I feel like both of those decks are kind of being underappreciated going into this new format because they don't really have the usage of the new toys, so to say.
Yeah. I don't even know if like I just like the only thing I see people talking about is Dusknoir. Like
Exactly.
people are just on that card. Like I get it's a really good card. It's got a lot of versatility when it comes to what it can do. Like the access to having early game counter catchers and defiance bands and all of those kinds of cards are really good, but like I still think that like Guardy is going to be there. Like it doesn't matter what anybody wants to say about it. Like if you don't check your deck for Guardy, you will probably not win Worlds, and that's just how it goes, right?
That's fair.
Man.
I think that's
like,
fair.
and like same thing that happened last year, like at Japan, like everybody was absolutely dogging on Mew, right? Like that was the honest truth. Is ever like last year, even my good buddy, one of my best friends in the world, Fly, right? Who is the dedicated Mew man, didn't even play Mew to Worlds last year.
I didn't play Muted World.
Well, yeah, you played Guardy. You played Guardy.
No, I played Lost Box.
Oh, you played Lost Box, yeah. Fly played Guardy, right? So like it's one of those things that like I could see if everybody keeps on this train of like absolute I hate Guardy, like Guardy's bad. Guardy could very easily win. Like it could very easily come in and just completely take the event by storm and win the event.
Yeah, I mean, but you also and then also you got to go with the whole script thing, right? Psychic Pokemon in the deck win Worlds.
Yeah, that is fact. Psychic Pokemon in deck win Worlds.
Yeah, you can't win Worlds unless you have a Psychic Pokemon in your deck. So,
Yeah.
all right, but I think that's pretty much what's gonna lead it off. I'm just gonna let Zach give all the shout outs, man. I appreciate you joining us for our second episode of the Jammin Tower podcast. Glad you could make it in. Glad you got moved in and settled in. I look forward to seeing you in Hawaii. But yeah, go ahead and do your shout outs.
I mean, first and foremost, shout out y'all for having me on. I know that y'all are it's a newer podcast, right? So I mean, I appreciate the love to be this. Who was the first guest?
You were the first guest.
Damn, I was about to be like, who I have beef with. I got beef with myself now. That's a whole different topic. I feel like who we beefed with.
Bro stands in the mirror and starts like flexing. He's like,
like I'm a bit. So I appreciate y'all for having me on here as the first guest. Wow, I feel so honored. Glad I got all glammed up for this. Shout out to the Shuffle Squad, y'all the homies. I mean, I have to say, like, we got a few sponsors, and I'm not trying to go out, but like, I kind of really like the advanced GG shit that they just sent me. This stuff's kind of been keeping me going, like during my move, and like literally as a Pokedad, that's just like, well, Pokedad to be. This stuff's getting me through my life, so like, I'm not trying to shamelessly plug it on the pod, but like, I don't know, this stuff's kind of busted. I like drinking like I'm one of those like I have 4 beverages on my desk at all time kind of things. So I'm always carrying this stuff around. That stuff's really cool. But no, I mean, I'm just excited for Worlds. I'm excited for a few other things. The only thing, like, I'm still just gotta get over like everything transferred over. So that's all I gotta. That's on my next to do list when we figure that out. But beyond that, I think sights on Worlds. See how that goes.
Yeah.
And yeah, awesome. We appreciate having you in. I also like Advanced GG. I just got my care package. Shout out TSS. Sorry, Jay. Gotta give my plug too.
Listen, man, I'm just here. I just work here.
But yeah,
Well, I
that's
see a Gatorade in the back.
Listen, I'm not saying I have a problem or anything. I just really like Gatorade. All
yeah,
right.
Gatorade's good, man.
Gatorade's good.
Stuff. But I'm just saying the Advanced GG stuff that I tried it once we got them as a sponsor. When I got my care package, it was I started off with the guava berry stuff, and it was fire.
Is it
was
like
good.
is it like a powder? Like you put it in like
Yeah.
the oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Put
it's
it in water and shake it up, and then
You put a couple of scoops, you put it, and it's like energy drink juice. But I think it's like super low cal, and like from what I read, I mean, I'm not an expert or a scientist. I literally play Pokemon cards and wear Hello Kitty shirts and shit. It's one of those things where like I think it's just like pretty good for you in terms of what I've seen for it. It looks like it's clean energy.
yeah.
Not like it matters for me because I probably would have drank anything, but shout at them for keeping it real.
Yeah, for sure.
Advanced GG sponsor the podcast too.
Yeah, we're
That'd be
here.
sick.
I'm
You
just
can only try, bro. You can only try, right?
Listen,
Alright,
if a podcast can get Manscaped, we can get an energy drink company.
I mean, you're real. All right, Jay, go ahead. You want to go and give your shout outs or before we close it out here?
Yeah, I just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out to the kitchen. Thank you guys for constantly being my boys and like supporting everything that we do and all that kind of stuff. And shout out Dre and Shuffle Squad for being good company and good friends for as long as we have been. And lastly, shout out 88 Card House if you're looking for sealed products. That is probably your best destination to go grab some of that. So you can go check down in the description. There will be a link there, and you can go do whatever you guys want to do. But thank you guys for coming by. I appreciate everything. And Dre, closing thoughts?
Yes, sir. So shout out Zach coming in. Love it. Appreciate you being the first guest. Shout out Shuffle Squad. All the homies that support all you guys, Candace, all that good stuff. Shout out Jay for being a great partner in this podcast. Man. I'm glad we were able to put all this together. It's been good. I'm loving it, and I can't wait to bring more episodes, especially touching on more of the stuff that maybe other podcasts are too afraid to or just won't. So I appreciate you going through that stuff with me because I know a lot of people would kind of be a little sus about covering those topics. But I'm glad we were able to get through those things. Just shout out to everybody watching. Just make sure you guys, go ahead, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, share the podcast. We should be getting this put out onto more platforms other than YouTube. Spotify should be coming in for, I think, starting with this episode, I believe.
Yeah, I should be able to get it on Spotify. I should be able to get it on Spotify this week.
Make sure you do like whatever the reviews are for Spotify. I don't know, dude. I don't listen to podcasts on Spotify, if I'm being honest. But I know there's something you can do on Spotify. Yeah, just like it. Appreciate everybody. We'll see you guys next week for episode 3. Just a few more weeks until World. So if you are a competitor, make sure you're grinding. Get on that tabletop. Make sure you're ready because we're going to see you there. Peace.
Make sure you're reaching out for the podcast in Hawaii. It's the last thing I want to mention. I'm trying to get a big group of us together to do something real special. So make sure you are reaching out to be a part of something awesome. All right. See you guys.
Crazy.
See you guys.